Welcome to the Backpacking Blisters podcast. With me today is our good friend Justin Outdoors. He's a man who's the leading expert on literally every single piece of backpacking gear ever made. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. That's a big. Those are big accolades. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, who's better? Who's ahead of you?
Nobody.
Nobody.
I can't think of anyone. Depends on how you define expert. Like I have a lot of random knowledge in my brain about a lot of different gear. It's yeah.
Yeah. Well, are you still updating your spreadsheet?
I have like I took it to the next level with the Pack Wizard website. It's like super spreadsheet now. Yeah.
Super, yeah, that's right, on steroids. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're kind of my go-to guy when I'm looking at buying new gear, and sometimes like you'll put out videos, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that I needed that, but I guess I do. But I don't know. I don't know. We were just chatting before we hit record, and you said you had almost every single piece of gear, or every good piece of gear, right?
Any piece of gear that I'd want to be testing out at this point, I've gotten my hands on and I've been putting through its paces, and it's fun and I enjoy it. Like people always say like you see comments out there of people are just saying like, don't worry about the gear, just like enjoy the trail. But part of the fun for the hobby for me is the gear and nerding out about the gear. So like I enjoy that, and if people don't enjoy gear, then that's cool too. But
no, that's why you're the expert. That's why you're kind of the go-to guy. But I've actually been thinking about that recently because we have such a variety of folks that probably tune in to both this podcast and to your channel, of course. So if I were to say, like, I am so excited to go backpacking. Like I literally have a trip coming up this week. I'm so excited to go backpacking because like in my mind, I've got like five different reasons that I'm excited to go backpacking. If I was to say, or if you were to say that, what would be your, like, is your number one reason, like, because you're excited to use your gear, or what are your like top couple of reasons you got?
that's probably number two. Number one is for the alone time. Like I recharge like an insane amount in the backcountry when I go out on solo trips. I come back in such a good mood, and like my energy level is like up here.
Right.
So that's, people always ask like why I go on so many solo trips, and that's why it's like it's my recharge zone. And sometimes I feel bad, like I'll be at a campsite and there'll be other people around, and sometimes I'll chit chat a bit, but most of the time I just kind of like take my chair and go off and kind of just sit alone.
Fair enough. Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. So I'm trying to connect the dots here because last year we were on the same trip together in Banff, and I think I talked to you more than a lot of the folks that were on the trip, and I really enjoyed just chatting with you, hanging out with you. But there was, I don't know, I want to say like 5 or 6 times we're chatting. We are in the middle of a conversation, and you're like, hang on one second. And then you would go off into the meadow and then have your camera like do the whole YouTube thing. Like, here I am in the middle of such and such meadow, blah, 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 blah. And then you'd stay out there for quite a while. Is that your way of just like politely peeling off to get your alone time? I've had enough, Carl.
Maybe subconsciously, because I enjoyed our conversations. Everyone on that trip was awesome. I had a lot of good conversations, and I really enjoy those trips too. But I probably went out right after that. I probably went out on like a solo trip like the next week.
Too much,
because it is they do drain me a little bit.
For sure,
but
I understand.
But in a fun way, fun draining. It's like playing like like going to Disneyland or playing like a fun sport. Like it's exhausting, but it's a lot of fun.
Going to Disneyland. Oh my gosh. It's fun, sort of. It depends on when you go and who you're going with. It's fun, sort of, but it's also exhausting. That's a good analogy there. Yeah. By the way, all those conversations we were having, we never finished any of those. Those were ended once you went out into the meadow.
Are they still in your head? Is this we'll have to just do a recap, and you can just bring the list of unanswered questions and unfinished.
We can make a podcast episode. It could just be like unfinished conversations with Justin Outdoors. So that's funny. So okay, testing gear is number 2 for me. In my top 5 reasons of going backpacking, gear is not a part of the top 5 at all. So that's why we bring you on the show, because you're the expert and you go to like next level in terms of testing and you know your stuff. So this episode's about like how much weight can you shave with $150 these days. So we're talking about kind of like you're starting at average level, and then we're going to try to like shave weight. how far does $150 really go? I have a feeling you're going to have a lot better answers than me. So I tried to, like think outside the box to try to come up with some decent answers. But I don't know, what was your like approach to this, or thought process, or strategy, or how'd you go about this?
It's tough because like $150 compared to like even 3 years ago does not go as far. Like
I know.
everything that was $150 seems to be like minimum like $160 now, but more often than not like $200, that kind of thing. Like
Right.
$200 seems to be like that new amount that everyone's targeting for a lot of different gear. So that's been tough. And then some items like they already start off like there's just not a lot of good budget options out there. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the last category that we talk about was probably the toughest one for me to find good options for.
Okay. So, and it's funny that you say budget, because I feel like $150 is still a lot of money. Like in my world anyway, 150 is, I know it's
Yeah.
not going as far, but it's like a lot of money. Like if you lose $150, you're not like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Well, I think it depends on like how like where backpacking or camping lies as like the hobby. Like if it's your primary hobby, like people spend $150 on like light bulbs for their house kind of thing. Like if
Mhm.
they want like a smart house system or like I don't know like
If lighting is their hobby.
I was that was a personal example. I really like smart light bulbs. So all of our I've recently switched out all of the light switches in our house that
Okay.
they're smart.
Okay. Wait, are you like, so I want lights 3 and 1 on, but 2 off, and you can just do that from, are you doing it like verbally? Like,
So I can do
Alexa,
it
turn off.
verbally, yeah.
Okay. And
Like turn
then,
on all the basement lights or turn off all the basement lights. I also got really
okay.
annoyed because my office is in the basement and there's like six light switches to control all of the lights. So and
Oh,
I
right.
really got annoyed with that. So I just made them all linked to one light switch. So I just press one button and then all the lights turn on, which is a
Okay.
lot more
Wait,
efficient.
that sounds like a lot of rewiring. Do you know how to do that?
I've only electrocuted myself a couple times. It's not too
Okay.
bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, because I rewired a lot of stuff, and then stuff stopped working, and so then we had to call the electrician, and then they kind of scolded me. They were like, "Yeah, you're not really doing it right." And I was like, "I watched YouTube. Isn't that sufficient?"
I haven't had any issues. There was a scary moment though where I asked my wife while she was pregnant to help me, and she got like a little shock accidentally, and that was a little
Oh.
scary because that's apparently can
Oh.
be really bad. So after that, I
Yes.
was like, okay, yeah, that was a mistake. No
Don't help.
more pregnant wife helping with
Right.
electrical work.
That's right. The way that we did this was we kind of, I gave you kind of like a starting weight, or gave both of us a starting weight for kind of like a intro budget entry level, somewhere between that and like a mid-level backpacker. They have kind of like their weight. They haven't spent a ton of money on gear. And then we have it categorized like tent, backpack, sleeping bag. I think we got like 5 or 6 categories. And so we'll share what the starting weight we had to deal with was, and then what you would upgrade them to for hopefully under $150. And then how much, so like what the price, what the item is, what the price is, and then like how much weight that's shaving. Is that kind of how you structured it?
Yeah, that's exactly how we structured it. And yeah, like I said, it was tough. Some of these categories
Yeah.
were difficult. Not a lot of options.
I, I didn't give you like specific tips on this. I mean, you're the expert, so I didn't feel like I had to give you many tips. I did encourage you to think outside the box a little bit. So warning, I did that. But one way that you could have thought outside the box, and you probably did, but I'm not sure, is you could have used US dollars instead of Canadian dollars. Did you do that?
I used US dollars, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm always like I only really think in US dollars for gear just because that's the majority of my audience is US. But then my brain thinks in grams instead of ounces, but then also
Right.
pounds and yeah.
Okay. Well, if you
I'll be
have a
switching
mental
back and
calculator,
forth.
yeah. I'm not good with the grams to ounces calculators. If you have the mental calculator, you can kind of like clarify if you want to. But all right, I'll let you go first. Yeah, we don't have to go in order here, so we can start with whatever category you want. What do you want?
I think we can start off with PAX. I think PAX was kind of like one of the easier ones to go through. I think there's some good options, especially if you kind of if you can get pretty lightweight for a pretty good price. And I think
Okay.
there's really two brands, maybe three brands that really like just have a ton of different options that are lightweight, like kind of under like around 2.5 pounds, under 2.5 pounds, with
Okay.
Kelty Mountain
What's our
Smith.
starting weight and like liter
Oh yeah,
capacity?
yeah, like 5 pounds. And then okay, I think like we had talked about a 65 liter capacity, but I went a little bit lower. So, some options you can get
Okay.
65 liters, but I think for a lot of people out there, if they're starting to lower their pack weight, then they're probably going to
hmm
be ending up in like more of a 50-55 liter range. Um,
You messaged me last night, and it seemed like you were like borderline bothered by 65 liters. You're like, like 65 liters? Who's bringing a 65-liter pack these days? Am I getting that right?
yeah, kind of like 60, like 65 liters. Like I could bring like 8 sleeping pads and like I don't know, like
What? Okay, I gotta see how you pack them because I like 65 liters is what I bring. Like that, literally, that's what I carry. And you just were talking about carrying a 60-pound pack. So you have 60 pounds. I don't know if you're like putting metal in the pack, but what size pack were you wearing with that?
that was about 70 liters for 60
Okay.
pounds. So like
Like dangling things off the side?
not no, everything for the most part was inside except for my table. I had a table on the outside, but that was it.
Table. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Like the
No
stuff that
no
takes up the
metal.
most space in my pack is typically things. I mean, if I got to bring a bear canister, that's just like that kind of just expands the bottom of my pack. But
Yeah.
typically, it's like the food bags take a good chunk of space, food and clothing, and I'm not bringing a ton of clothing. So,
Hmm.
Justin, what am I doing wrong, man?
Maybe it's too much food. I don't know. But I feel like part of the problem is like you feed the entire group that comes with you because like half the people in the group always is running out of food. Like our trip, half the people ran out of food the last day, and you're like, well, okay, here's my extra food. And
I
so
didn't
what I
have
rec
extra food. I ran out of food too. I was trying to be nice. I was giving what food I had out, but I was in short supply. Like I went through everything. So
So I think
that
what
was
you guys need to do on the trip, your yearly trips, is bring one like 2 pound jar of peanut butter because it's like very calorie dense. It's pretty compact, and that's gonna give you like 2,000, 3,000, like 3,000 calories, I think, for
yeah.
a 2 pound jar of peanut butter, and
That's so
that'll get a
funny.
few people through an extra day.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
actually a really good tip right there if running out of food is a common problem. But that was literally the only trip we've ever had. We ran out of food. It turned out to be way harder than we thought. And I probably had like almost enough if I didn't share, to be honest, because I was passing out food on I think as early as day two, and I wasn't trading. I was just handing it out, and people were just appreciative. That being said, there was one time when this is okay. Here's a lesson I learned. We all stopped around this rock to look at like some petroglyphs or something. I don't know, like that was also on day two, and I
Yeah.
pulled out some moon cheese, and I wasn't even thinking that I was pulling it out in front of everybody, and then I think a couple guys are like, "Oh, can I have some?" And so I didn't even have any yet, and I just kind of passed it around. I like it came back empty. So lesson learned on that one. But
Yeah, I feel like you can't
there you
be
go.
pulling out good snacks in front of people. Good snacks will always like you always have to share. You got to bring
I
like
know.
not tasty snacks for that reason.
That's not fun. bring bring
Just
saltine
like
crackers.
saltines and fruit leather. Like no one's gonna be asking to share like your fruit leather.
Oh my gosh. I just think I'm not sharing this trip, but
Just
because of the issue we had last year, we're gonna overcompensate. Everyone's gonna have way too much food. It'll be ridiculous. But oh yeah, sorry. We're off topic here. Getting back to backpacks. All right. So we're starting at 5 pounds, 65-liter capacity. All right. So go for it. What you got?
anything Kelty, Mountain Smith, Nature Hike are gonna be like pretty good options. Basically, is what
Okay.
I've seen out there. Um, I'd probably lean towards Mountain Smith as like my first option of those, and then Kelty, and then like Nature Hikes has some good like very light options, but I find their packs just like not super polished.
Okay.
But if people are willing to like, the kind of like thing in the what's this term, the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
is our REI sales, which happen like every like 3 months kind of thing. And I have
Right.
some options on this list that like really take advantage of like predictable, like they're predictable. So I didn't want to like always be like, well, if you get this on sale, like it's going to be cheaper, which is
Right.
I feel like kind of like a cop out. But I think with REI sales, they're so predictable that you can kind of rely on them if you're going to be purchasing gear because they'll happen
Okay.
4 or 5 times a year. So like
Okay.
the REI
So well,
Flash 55 pack
okay.
is
And
one.
do you and on sale, what are those running?
So the Flash 55 is 200 regular price and then drops down to 140 on
Okay.
sale, like
All
pretty
right. So that
much
qualifies, man.
every few months. Yeah.
And how much
So
does
that
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 weigh?
that one weighs about 2.5 pounds.
Okay. So that's a okay. So for the money, that's a significant savings. You're saying, sir, for 140 bucks, you're able to cut your weight in half,
Mm-hmm.
ish. Like entry level backpacks, they're not all 5 pounds, but a lot of them are in that 4 to 5 pound range. So that's a
Yeah.
good one. And I told you, think outside the box. So predictive sales is a really good answer. All right.
Yeah, and I think a lot. I think the 5 pounds was like a really good one because especially in the like people who have a pack that's like 5, 10 plus years old, like they're definitely going to be in that range. I think a lot of these lighter packs that are like under like 3 pounds or less
Mm-hmm.
and are affordable have mostly been coming out in the last like handful of years. So
Right.
it's
Oh,
kind
for
of a
sure.
good time to be upgrading a pack.
I bought a Gregory Palisade pack, which was like top of the line back in its day. I want to say like early 2000s. I bought this like last year at a garage sale, and it weighed in at 7 pounds. I mean, it was an 85-liter pack, but it literally had like rubber. It was like a rubberized bottom, and that was like top of the line. And so, yeah, strangely, that sold on eBay, so somebody still wants that. But anyway, yeah, they've definitely come down.
Yep.
Backpack for me was one of the hardest categories. Sounds like that was easy for you. This was not easy for me. So I had to go like way outside the box on this one. I guess I didn't even look at Mountain Smith. I've had a couple Mountain Smith packs. To be honest, they haven't been my favorite. And
Hmm.
so yeah. So I did an older REI Flash 62, and I was able to find it for $85 on eBay.
Nice.
So I used eBay just this one time. Otherwise, like that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like I was like a little bit too far outside the box, but I was like, one time I'm gonna use it because this is the hardest category. And that one weighed in at 3 pounds. So I got it closer to the 65-liter capacity at 62 liters and 3 pounds. So yeah. So again, pretty significant weight savings, and so backpack was a big one there. But it sounds like
I
we had
think
similar ideas. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think like getting used gear is like a great option. Like you can probably
Oh,
drop down to like a pound and a half for like $100 if you're buying used gear.
depends. Yeah, I did look at some like better brands, like brands that typically go for more money, and I couldn't get it under 150 even with used gear at this point. So it
Mm,
might also be a shortage during the summertime when everybody's buying gear. So if you kind of
yeah,
buy early or off season, whatever. But that's a good point. REI is also doing a used gear thing on their website. I think you can buy through them
okay,
as well. So
yep,
all right, so pack is significant savings for $150. You can save 2 to 3 pounds. Sounds like for both of us, and I think you had the better answer on that one. All right,
and
let's go
there's
with an
even like other options. Like I just want to throw out one just to those people who want to go like super ultralight. And
yeah.
like if they take a look at the Granite Gear Verga 2, it's like a 1 pound frameless pack, has a hip belt and stuff,
Okay.
but like 1 pound and like around $100. It's a pretty crazy pack.
But what's the capacity on that one? Like, ballpark.
That one's about 50 liters. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look. I
It's
was looking at Granite Gear, but I didn't look at that specific model. I was trying to find a Crown 2
mhm.
that was under 150, and I couldn't find one. So anyway, that's a good one. Okay. Frameless pack. Are you pro frameless pack?
I think as long as your overall pack weight is under like 40 pounds, I think you can get away with a frameless pack. Like I think for a lot of
Okay.
like if you're 30 pounds or less, like it's not even like a question. I think
Really?
people talk about like transferring weight to your hips, but if you have a lot of gear, if the pack's full and it's like and the gear is providing that frame, then I find it transfers the weight pretty effectively.
Okay. Interesting. What about under 20 pounds? Is that filling in
That's what I'm
the
going
gap?
no hip belt.
Okay. So they just
Yeah.
yeah, just shoulder straps. Gotcha. Okay.
Even 25 pounds or less, like I'm probably going no hip belt. I hate like I've used a lot of non hip belt packs recently and I hate hip belts
Uh-huh.
now. Like they crush my guts, and I end up with like diarrhea for like the full day after the trip, and it's not great.
uh, Newsflash: hip belts cause diarrhea, so beware.
That's a good video. That's the next episode with you. That's
It's a question: do hip belts cause diarrhea? And they can get some sort of like, I don't know, medical expert on for that. That's funny. Yeah, I definitely want to. I don't know. I go back and forth because I don't want to wear it just on my shoulders. But I kind of pull the hip belt. I take it on, take it off, and yeah, I know that it's not allowing your hips to move as freely, also, so it can cause some tension in some areas and some tightness in the hip flexor specifically. So yeah, that's a whole different story. But all right, so there you go. So that's backpack. Let's go. Let's jump into sleeping bag. I found this to be one of the easier ones. Like, we based it on an existing sleeping bag weight of 3 pounds and like right around 25 degrees. I feel like you can kind of manipulate that a little bit. And so let's see, mine for this one was a Mountain Hardwear Lamina. I found online, a Lamina 30, so 30 degrees, so 5 degrees off for $135. I didn't shave a ton of weight on this one. I got it down to 2 pounds, 2 ounces. So I shaved, like almost a pound, but I lost 5 degrees. But possibly, I should say possibly, because I feel like the Mountain Hardwear, their comfort rating is better than some of the other brands. So that's where I was at. What happened for you?
I found this one like pretty tough.
Okay,
Especially
interesting.
especially to try and hit like that 20 like a 25-degree rating. Um,
Okay.
like 25-degree comfort rating. I I think 30-degree comfort ratings a little bit is quite a bit easier. But if you're in the mountains and stuff, like that might not be quite enough, especially if you're going out kind of early summer, late summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I only really came across two options. The Kelty Cosmic Down 20, which is like one of my favorite affordable sleeping bags out there. That weighs kind
Okay.
of like in that 2 pound range that you mentioned as well. And then
All right.
the North Face Cat's Meow, but it's a synthetic one, so it's going to be quite a bit bulkier, but might be good if you're like in the Pacific Northwest and in kind of like the rainforest and stuff a lot. Then that
Right.
synthetic material will be pretty good.
Okay. How much? The cat's meow is probably, that can't be much less than 3 pounds, right?
That's less than 3 pounds.
Was it?
I, yeah, I think it's like around that 2.5 pound mark.
Okay. Interesting. Man, that bag's been out stinking forever. That's like a tried and true bag, the North Face cat. I think I've owned one, at least
Yeah,
one of those.
it's so bulky though. Like if you have a like you might need a 65-liter pack for that.
Right, right. Right. That's so funny. I had a 30-degree last summer when we were in Banff, and that, I mean, like the temperature got pretty low there. I don't know that it got to
Mhm.
30, but it got pretty low. And I thought, yeah, I don't know. I know that if you're talking early seasons, it's colder than that, but all right. So that's sleeping bag. All right. What do you want next? Next category.
I one more sleeping bag. I just want to give a shout out to
Oh,
the Decathlon MT900 bag, which is 30
okay.
degree comfort rating, but is it'll be under 2 pounds and kind of around that $150 mark. It'll be quite a bit
Okay.
lighter than either of those other two options. So if people are looking to really shave weight, and if they live kind of like outside of North America, then probably a lot easier to get than those other two.
Right. Right. Okay. So this is where you're next level for me. I had a hard time coming up with like one answer for each of these categories. You've got 3 options per category. So
I always have like this
what's
little
the
bonus
difference?
option that I'm like, if we just kind of like throw all the rules out the window, like here's what I think is like the notable option.
That's so funny, man. Okay. And by the way, I gotta say, like, it sounds like you've used some of these things. I haven't. Like, these are. I can't guarantee that these are better options than what you already have. If you kind of have that starting weight, you might have a more comfortable backpack. Like a warmer sleeping bag. This is just like basically like what is available. May or may not be better in terms of like performance. So just I want to throw that out there. I've tried some of these things we're talking about, but I've not tried all of them.
Yeah.
So all right. Next category, what you got?
Let's do sleeping pads. This one was an
Okay.
interesting one because I found it. There's like some really good options that are newer. that are newer in the last couple of years. And other than packs, I've tried everything that I'm talking about for all the other categories. Like I've tried before. I've tried
Okay,
the
that's
REI
good.
Flash 55, but I haven't tried a lot of Kelty or Mountain Smith, like larger volume packs. But obviously
Okay.
mags, sleeping pads, tents, and stuff. But the XPED Ultra 3R pad is okay. I went $10 over. It's $160 full price. You can get it on sale for quite a bit less, quite often. But that's like
Okay.
16. That's 13 ounces for the 20 regular width, and then 16 ounces for the wide version. I think we had like a 2 pound starting weight, for that one.
We had, yeah, which is weird because really for like a starter person sleeping pad, they're probably getting the foam pad because they're pretty cheap,
Hmm.
but they're not very comfortable. So I was trying to think if you're like, well, I want an inflatable, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. Like chances are, wouldn't you say 2 pounds is fair?
I think so. Like a lot of people, like I know a
Okay.
lot of people start with climate pads too, which are going to be lighter,
Right.
but they're gonna have like no warmth. And we didn't really talk about like having a warmth base, but I kind of had it at like three, like an R value of three is kind of like the minimum,
Okay.
to use.
Okay. So then with that criteria, I did not qualify, but I had a similar answer. I had the XPED Ultra 1R. The mummy version was $120 at 13 ounces. So that's
Nice.
just, yeah, I didn't address the R rating, but we're in the same ballpark. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of myself, actually. The fact that I
Oh,
have like a
it's a
similar
great
answer to
option.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. All right. I'm
the
feeling
Expert
good.
Ultra is insane. Like it's a comfortable pad. It's light. Like very lightweight. And then if you like, you can kind of have you have three different options for warmth. If you don't care about warmth that much, you get the 1R. If you kind of are
Right.
in summer conditions, get the 3R. If you are in three season conditions, get the 5R. And
Yeah.
they're all well priced, lightweight, and very comfortable at the same time. So it's hard to beat that.
Okay. All right. Do you have bonus items for this one, or is that what you got?
I do.
Okay. Like it sounds like we're done the conversation. You're like, but by the way, boom, bonus. What you got?
Yeah, well, just in case people want options, like I think like the REI Helix, gets down to like 120 on sale and is the most comfortable pad I've ever used. Quite a bit
Okay.
heavier at 21 ounces,
Mm,
but insanely comfortable. And then the Outdoor Vitals Oblivion, is a good pad that I don't think gets a ton of love out there, but probably because
mm,
it's heavier at 23 ounces, but is only like
right.
100 is only $115.
Okay.
So
Those are good
that
ones, man.
that's a good option for people like just getting started because it's going to be relatively lightweight, warm enough, and pretty comfortable.
Right. Have you done a video? You probably have, like where you're just like basically, I have all these options, but this is really what I bring when I'm not testing gear out. I'm just going on a backpacking trip and I'm trying to go like, reasonably lightweight. I'm hitting the miles. I'm just out there, not for any sort of like ulterior motive. This is what I bring. Have you done that video recently?
I did it last year. I'm gonna probably do another one this year. Maybe even I might
Okay.
even go out tomorrow on a overnight trip, and just bring like this is like my just go to grab and go gear list kind of thing.
Right. Is and you're saying the REI pad is on that.
I think it'd probably be the XPED pad now, like the XPED
Really?
Ultra 3R for summer trips, just
Okay.
because of how much because it's half the weight essentially.
Okay.
So it's
Interesting.
nice. I really like especially I might just be like a little bit like traumatized by carrying that 60-pound pack like for 30 kilometers and like 800
Right.
meters of elevation gain.
Yeah,
But I'm like I have a lot more fun on trail when I'm carrying a light pack.
for sure. That being said, last year you chose to carry a 50-pound pack on our trip, and
Yeah.
you were hiking with it, and you didn't even bring it up, other than, oh, by the way, I've got a 50-pound pack. You didn't bring it up, and you were charging up the mountains like they were nothing, man. So,
50 pounds
like, well
wasn't too
done.
bad. 60 pounds was
Okay,
like a tipping point. I'm in better shape this year than I was last year, and 60 pounds was tough
okay,
by quite a bit.
that's tough
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, all right. So you said sleeping pad. I'll go with the last of the big four. So tent. This one was tough too. So we said like existing. I started at 3 pounds, thinking like if you're sharing, even 3 pounds, I felt like was heavy. But you said that was hard. So I said okay, tent weight 4 pounds. So now you got maybe even, I don't know, some of the what do you call it? Like the fiberglass poles or whatever.
I think it depends.
Fiberglass.
I guess that's a good point. Like if you're sharing, that's a big difference. Like
I think a
I
lot of
think
newbie backpackers, I mean, I know some are going by themselves, but a lot of them are going to share the tent. I know there's like definitely like a trend towards like have your own tent, smell your own farts, like that kind of thing. But if we go 4 pounds, yeah, I started, yeah, I guess it was easy to find tents that were under 4 pounds. Like that was easy, but to find them under $150, that was hard. So I went way outside the box in this one. This one I have a the MSR bivy. it's
all right.
it's I saved a ton of weight because it only weighs 6 ounces. So you're saving 3.5 pounds on this for $134. It's DWR treated. It's waterproof. It does not provide the comfort, the performance, the enjoyment of a tent. But if you're trying to shave a lot of weight, this could be your solution.
I'm guessing the E stands for emergency. So it's or does it have like mood lighting
it's
inside of it?
I mean, like it was definitely more substantial than like the true emergency ones, where it's like
Okay.
like the real emergency ones are like those space blankety ones, right? Like
Yeah.
those are the kind of worst case scenario, but it doesn't have mood lighting. It's got yeah, it like it looks like it's gonna hold up. Is was kind of my criteria. Would it hold up for a few trips? Like it was substantial enough to hold up, but you're right. It's probably more emergency only, but that's all I got. So,
Eh,
all right, what did you come
A,
up with? What do you have?
well, I just want to say, like a bivvy's a bold choice. On a trip
Okay.
recently, I saw a guy in a bivvy, and I rolled up to this campsite just take a break, and I saw just like a backpack with like a top like a rain shell over top of it, and then just this pile of material. And I thought someone had just like kind of taken their tent down and piled it, and then I was just like walking around, filming myself, talking to myself,
Yeah.
and then I look over and I get a better look, and it's like a person with their arms like it's like a coffin type
Yeah, like
scenario,
they're a
and I
mummy.
see the outline of their face and their feet and their arms and everything, and they're just it looks really freaky. And it was like 10 a.m. so it was like not early in the day
Okay.
either. So
Okay.
I
Well, that part's
they
creepy too then.
they never woke up when I was there, so I don't know.
Oh,
They might
really?
still be there as far as I know. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. They weren't like peeking out like a little eyeball through a zipper hole. Like,
they
what's
didn't
he
even
doing?
move.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like if anybody can recommend a bivy, I should be able to because I literally brought a bivy on the John Muir Trail and used it for the duration. So
Nice.
I feel like that's yeah. I feel like I have the credit. I mean, I slept outside for part of the time, but I think I hit halfway through and I was inside the rest of the trip. So yeah. Anyway, all right. What's better? What do you got?
So yeah, this one was tough, and I like really the options that I was able to come up with are like Amazon, AliExpress, kind of like you go with like the 3F UL tents, like the Lanchan series if you want trekking pole tents, but you're gonna be able to get those for like close to $100. They're gonna be like a couple pounds for like a two-person tent. And if you want like a freestanding nature hike, has like the Tagar and the Cloud Up. I don't think you can get the Tagar tent in the U.S. because of it infringes on Tarp Tent's patent for the Rainbow series of tents,
Oh, interesting.
because
Okay.
it's a direct copy, and I think Tarp Tent only has their patent for the U.S. and maybe Europe. Um,
Right.
so that's I've heard it's a good option.
Okay.
And then if you want to like go minimalist, but maybe not as claustrophobic as a bivy. Like you could just bring a tarp and a ground sheet and set that
Mm-hmm.
up and get a pretty good
Yep.
option for like $100.
Yeah, that's
It's,
true.
it's
That is
that's
true.
about it.
I actually looked at that and I was like, yeah, I like the bivy better than that option because of the bugs, but that's a
Hmm.
good point.
And
Okay.
REI has some good options with the Passage too and the Trail Hut too. Like they're like low hundreds, and they're not as light as the other options. Like they're going to be probably around 3 to 4 pounds for a two-person tent, but um,
Right.
pretty solid. Just like if people just want like a classic like framed tent that they're going to be feel really familiar in, then those are going to
Right.
be good tents.
Now, I will point out though, one thing about the REI tents specifically, like I've used quite a few of them over the years, and of all the tents that I've used, those tend to like not hold up as well. Like some of the
Mm.
REI gear holds up really well over the years, but the tents do not. Whether it's like the waterproofing or like they have a lot of fraying. like they just start to fray almost out the gate. So
Hmm.
that's one thing that like it's more like I would view it as more as like a short term solution, basically. So
Okay,
just
interesting.
FYI.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've had the
Uh,
Passage 2 for 4 years now, and it's been pretty good. But
no fraying.
no fraying,
Like,
no leaking. Yeah, like
okay.
it's I don't know. Maybe you're hard on your gear. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Maybe be more gentle with the zippers, Carl. Stop yanking on them. It's caught. It's caught.
How often do you move your tent? Like, are you like one of those people you get to a camping area and then you like set up your freestanding tent and then you're like, well, it's a freestanding tent, so I might as well just drag it over to this other spot, see how it looks over there.
Drag it.
Drag it over to this other spot. Oh no, it's fraying.
Okay, first of all, it's fraying on the inside of the tent, and it's fraying not where the zipper is, but like where the zipper's been sewn into the rest of the tent, like on the seams. So it's
Mm,
not even an area that like, and it's off the ground, so I'm not rubbing against it. I guess like I don't know. It's there, and it's the same issue. I've had the half dome 4-person tent. I've had multiple just half dome two pluses,
mm,
and one that I just got, like I bought it used, and so like it already was fraying. It wasn't even for me, so that was like somebody else that caused it to fray. So
mm.
and then that one also had the shot cord wear out, which I've never had a tent have the shot cord wear out before. So like with the tent
Yeah,
poles, and so I had Anyway,
that's
it could be me.
interesting.
It could be you're right. It could be me. I'm not the
Yeah,
guy that's like hard on stuff
yeah, you
though.
seem pretty good with your gear. Like I just yeah, because I've had the Half Dome SL, the 3 plus, and then the SL 3 plus, and both
Mhm.
those have been like the 3 plus I've had for 4 years, and the SL 3 plus for 2 years now, and yeah, no fraying,
Okay.
no shot cord issues. Yeah,
All right. Maybe use your error on that one. Just kind of keep that in mind. Interesting.
which is a
All
thing.
right.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, there's people that like they're hard on everything, right? Like they're gonna
yeah.
get a piece of furniture and it's gonna have a rip in it day one, but that's not me. I don't
Well,
think.
yeah,
I guess I should.
yeah, exactly. And like if a
Yeah.
piece of gear requires like very specific meticulous use, like that I feel like that's a con and like a flaw against that piece of gear, right? So
Right. 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 Okay. All right. Well, I'll just kind of I'll put an asterisk next to what I said about that. All right, let's go with like I had like miscellaneous item. I chose a chair. I guess I wasn't probably super specific about that. It didn't have to be a chair, but like you could buy an Amazon chair that weighs like 2.5 or 2 to 2.5 pounds. So upgrade on that. I just had the REI Flex Light chair, 100 pounds, 100 pounds, $100, 1 pound.
yeah,
Did you chair? Or did you do something else, or what you got?
yeah. Chair's the easiest one, like the Flexlite Air, because yeah, you're dropping
Okay,
to like a full pound, and it's really the only $100 option out there.
right.
Like cook systems, I feel like people carrying like carrying around jet boils and stuff, like that's a pound of weight that you
Mm-hmm.
could drop pretty easily for like $50. Get a way later setup, drop down to
Okay,
like what would the weight be? You could probably get down to like 3 ounces.
with the
So
whole cook
drop
system.
with the whole cook system, yeah,
Okay. With
for
the
like a one person
stove.
cook system.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you get the
Is that
DRS
really
3000 stove at like under an ounce, and then you can get a Tokes pot,
yeah,
and that's going to be
2.
like a couple ounces.
Right. Right. Okay. Just not going to get the same performance. Again, just to clarify, I feel like I've got to clarify this every single time. We bring the jet boil, but I
Yeah,
only bring it when it's like 6 or more people are using it essentially. So that way it's fast and we're not bringing as much fuel to burn through, and so it's really good in that scenario. But when less than 6 are using it, then I'm bringing something else. So yeah, I feel like I have to
yeah,
defend myself. I'm like defending against people that I'm anticipating, like what, ask about that. So, okay. That's a good, yeah. So then I had like, I don't know, we had like another, like, so that was miscellaneous was a chair, and you mentioned the stove. Luxury item, do you have anything for that one? Like a common upgrade?
like chairs really like the biggest luxury item. Like I think pillows, like pillows are one that I think like is probably as important, if not more important, than a comfortable sleeping pad, because having like the right elevation for your head, I think is
Mm-hmm.
is key to be comfortable, especially if you're a side sleeper. I know a lot of people like like compressible pillows, like the foam compressible pillows, but I find like for me the issue is in the name. It's compressible. So by the time I wake up in the morning, my head is like the pillow's an inch thick instead of being
Right.
like 5 inches thick, and then I have
Right.
a kink in my neck. So I like inflatables for that reason, ideally with like a foam
Okay.
topper. So yeah, I think
I
hard to
I
get.
the
Like
pillow I'm
it's
using
tough.
this year, yeah, the pillow I'm using this year is literally I bought it because you suggested it. I forget the model, but it's the Trekology. It's like not even made for backpacking. It's a camping one. It's like the really big inflatable camping one.
The
So
ultra.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I've got that one, and I don't even know what it weighs, but I brought it on 2 trips so far, and I'm bringing it again, man. Bringing it this week. So
I think it's
yeah,
170 grams, but it's gigantic. Like
it's it's like a
it's
almost regular size pillow.
yeah, it's not big. I think it is. Like I thought the
Yeah.
Xped Mega Pillow was, and like with a name like Mega Pillow, like you'd think it'd be the biggest
Right.
pillow on the market, but then Trekology comes out with the Ultra Pillow, and
You're
it's
right.
like
Right.
twice the size. It's crazy.
It is. Yep. So good suggestion. I'm going to use it again. This is the most like aggressive trip I'm using it for, so we'll see how it holds up over the longer trip. But anyway, all right. So I had my luxury item. Since you're guest hosting for Derek this week, I had to have something that related to Derek. So I tried to come up with a way to upgrade his pajama pants. So the
Mm.
luxury item I chose was the Champion Lounge Pants. Like I literally looked up pajama pants, and that's what came up on Amazon was lounge pants, whatever that means. But that's kind of what he's doing. So
Yeah,
$35, 6 ounces. I really don't know how much his pajama pants weigh on a trip, or if anybody else is bringing pajama pants outside of like kids. Like, have you heard of anybody else besides Derek bring pajama pants on a trip? I haven't.
I, like maybe like pant like some fleece pants or something. His are probably like like over half a pound. They're like
Maybe.
getting up to close 3/4 of a pound maybe for those pants. Like
Okay.
they looked heavy,
Okay.
but and
Maybe I'll
so
buy them for
good
him. But
upgrade. Yeah,
all
Christmas
right. Yeah.
present or
Thanks. That,
something.
and then the last category was like series of smaller items. So like all the small kind of like rando things. So really a lot of these things don't like you can get under $150. So you can kind of package some of them together. Is there anything, I don't know how you structured it, but you have like a list of like, if you buy these items, you're probably saving a chunk of weight.
Like the ones off the top of my head would be, especially if people like, I see people bring entire rolls of toilet paper all the time, and if you
Mm-hmm.
just get like a little bidet that goes on the end of a water bottle, like a Kulo Clean, like that's a savings. That's a big weight savings, and you have a cleaner butt, so it's win-win.
How are you drying your butt, Justin?
Either air dry, or I have a Kula cloth that I'll just kind of like do a little
Okay. Gotcha.
pat dry.
Okay.
But if you have like a light breeze, like if you just stand there as you wash your hands, stand there with your butt to the wind, like you'll get nice, you'll get dry enough.
All right. Pro tip right there. Pro
Yeah.
tip: how to dry your butt if you're using a bidet. Okay. um. All right. Anything else on your series of smaller items?
Like a little flashlight instead of a headlamp. Like you can get a like 13 gram,
Okay.
16 gram
Yeah.
flashlight. Uh, Especially like they're like Rovivon was making ones that are like $30-$40, but there's been a lot of copycats that have come out that are the same
Hmm.
kind of design. Maybe not as high of lumen, as good battery life, but like for $3 and 13 grams, it's a pretty
Right.
good deal.
Okay.
And yeah,
All
that's
right.
that's probably about it
Okay.
for
Yeah.
smaller items. Yeah.
I don't want to like rehash things you already talked about. You mentioned some things, but just yeah, upgrading things like I had headlamp versus your existing headlamp or existing like mag light or whatever you brought, like upgrading your water bottle, like I know this has been
Mm.
mentioned a lot of times, but like a regular substantial water bottle versus like a thin plastic like smart water bottle. So we talked about pillow, talked about stove, pot, like all the smaller items. I was able like mentioning all the ones we just discussed. I was able to come up with something like between 100 and $130 to save 13 ounces. So
Nice.
yeah. So I guess like what are the big conclusions here? Like where's the biggest bang for your buck in terms of like saving weight? What category or categories you think are the biggest ones to invest in?
Definitely the big three tent sleeping, like the ones we went over, those big items.
Uh-huh.
I think tent and pack is probably where most people are. if they have been backpacking for a while, is probably where they can cut the weight the most, kind
For
of
sure.
right away. If
Right.
you're getting into backpacking, I think the pack is a good place to save weight right off the bat, because you can get good affordable options that are lightweight, that are going to perform really well. Like, you don't have to like kind of sacrifice getting a heavier pack and then maybe upgrading down the road. Just get like that lighter pack
Right.
right away, because there's
Yep.
good options right now.
There is, yeah. And I always say get a pack from a store or a place where you can return it, because that way you can try it out and make sure it fits, because pack is so specific and people, I don't know, just literally rubs people the wrong way sometimes. You want to make sure it's a comfortable pack. And even if you have to sacrifice some weight for a more comfortable pack, like I am definitely willing to do that. So, but yeah, for me, pack was the biggest. I mean, like, unless you want to count the bivy thing, pack was the biggest weight savings, like bang for your buck, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really the biggest bang for your buck is spending $0 and just getting rid of junk from your pack, like pajama pants. But that's, you'd have to meticulously go through that and watch more of Justin's videos to find out which things you can get rid of. So,
Yeah.
um,
But you can also like like I made a gear list that was $1,000 and 10 pounds base weight, and like has a bunch of like full comfort items and everything like that. So it's like it's pretty cool the times we live in. Like, you get some pretty lightweight gear for pretty affordable, like the cost of a week like vacation somewhere, which is
yeah.
what a backpacking trip is.
Yeah, and what's funny about that? You mentioned that is you're talking about like $1,000 is still like a ton of money, obviously.
Yeah.
But the cost of going versus the cost of staying in hotels for a few nights and other kind of travel, like touristy type expenses, like bang for your buck, typically backpacking, even with the gear cost, is going to be way less expensive than typical vacation. And you're going on an adventure. You're not just lounging around. And yeah, so it's like, yeah, you had a better story typically. So
Yeah. And the gear will last you for a decade.
right,
Probably.
right. Hopefully.
At least. Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah.
That's
Unless
right.
it frays on you or something like that.
And it can still be used if it's fraying, but the waterproofing wasn't working too. So anyway, all right. All right. So there you go. What do we miss? Any upgrades you guys suggest? Feel free to let us know. But it's time for trivia, folks. We've got price point trivia for Justin coming up right after this. The trail is calling your name. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Our good friend Rowan from Summit Strength can get you trail ready. Rowan uses rock-solid evidence to design a specialized training program just for you. There are plenty of cookie-cutter programs out there that will get you only halfway up the mountain. Make it to your adventure summit with Summit Strength. The link to your success is always in our episode description, but you can check out all the information you need at summitstrength.com.au/online. It's time to be strong and pain-free for your next adventure. All right, Justin, you got to get 2 out of 3 to pass trivia. If you pass, do you have a trivia punishment for me?
I do have. Yeah, I have it all set.
Okay.
It's a good one.
You got to tell me what it is. What's the punishment if you pass?
I don't. I don't wait till like potentially winning, or is this like?
Well, then, what if you lose? Am I going to find out then? Like, that's not fun.
If I lose that, then I'm worried that you're going to steal and then make that my punishment.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. I'll tell you what mine is. I just got a simple one. I just want, if you get less than 2 correct, I want a verbal mention of the B&B podcast on any of your upcoming videos. And you can do it any way you want. It could just be like literally like under a sentence, or you can do a full-on advertisement if you want to.
This video is brought to you by.
That's right. So
well, they don't have to deal with all the sellout comments and everything like that, being a shill for backpacking blisters. It's yeah.
If
I'll
backpacking blisters sponsored a Justin Outdoors video and you got accused of being a sellout, like sellout for what?
big podcast.
for big podcast brands. I don't know if we're big. I think I don't think you get accused of anything. All right, that's mine. If you want to keep your secret, that's fine. But I want to, if you don't pass, I want to at least know what you were thinking.
I'll still share it if I don't pass. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I feel like this trivia is pretty easy because I only gave you everything's multiple choice, and I only gave you 3 options. So
okay.
Here we go. Number 1.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
I
Which
think usually you
item is
give Derek like 5 options, don't you? He's always chirping you about
I? G-
like,
I give him 4 options, and one is intentionally ridiculous. So technically 3 options.
okay,
But I don't know if you listened to the recent episode. The last one he was on, I gave the trivia was called Derek Trivia, and I just re-asked questions he'd asked me on prior episodes, and he went 0 for 3. So there's that.
I was surprised he got the license plate trivia one recently.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was
Yeah,
impressive.
I know. He's actually, yeah, he comes across as kind of like saying nonsense all the time, but he's actually really smart. So, all right, here we go. Let's jump into this. Number 1, which item is the most expensive of these 3? A, Big Agnes copper spur footprint. B, limited edition Z-Pax Nalgene bottle. C, Jetboil Summit skillet.
Hmm. So I think it's between the Big Agnes footprint and the Summit skillet.
You don't think it's a Z-Pax Nalgene bottle?
I think the Z-Pack's Nalgene bottle for a Nalgene bottle, it's probably like $25 would be my guess.
Okay.
Whereas the footprint,
Well,
I'm guessing the footprint's closer to like 100 and something.
for the footprint?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got yeah, and then the skillet maybe like 60 something. I'm gonna go with the footprint because footprints seem to be like ridiculously expensive for the big brands.
Right. Okay. Man, you know your stuff, man. It's $80 for the footprint, and that is the most expensive item. That is correct. The Jetboil Summit skillet is $49, and the Z-Pax Nalgene bottle doesn't exist. I just made that up. So there's
Okay.
that. Yeah. All right. Number 2, which item is under $100 US? Okay, under $100. A, the Kelty Mistral sleeping pad. B, Mountain Hardware JMT, like the John Muir Trail 35-liter pack. Or C, the Lego Metroliner train set.
It's definitely not the Lego train set. I had one of the Lego space train sets like 30 years ago, and that was over $100 at that point in time. And I'm pretty sure Lego prices have increased by like a thousand
Yeah.
percent. It's like as good
What's a
as like
space train set?
it was like more like a monorail
Okay.
type system. Yeah,
All right.
it was at that point in time. I basically invented like magnetic trains and stuff, and
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's funny.
So I'm gonna go with the first one, which is the minstrel sleeping pad from
Mr.
Kelty,
Sleepy Bag. Okay. All right. That
which
that was
might not
$40,
exist, but
dude. No,
yeah.
it doesn't exist. $40. You got it correct. You already passed trivia. Dang, this is too easy for you.
Well, I
The
think I'm
Mountain.
getting confused because they also have like a Mistral line of sleeping bags
Okay.
for Kelty. So I'm like, would they name it the same thing? Like that seemed kind
Yeah.
of weird, but yeah.
It is, yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, and Aria had half dome packs too. So anyway,
True.
the Mountain Hardware JMT was $130, and the Lego Metroliner train set was on Amazon right now. It's going for $1,903. $1,900. So it's literally the most expensive Lego thing on Amazon I could find. Okay,
Wow. Is
just
that
fun
like
number
Prime?
3.
Like
Sorry,
the
I
Lego
don't.
set? Is that like Prime?
I
Like
think
you
it's.
get tomorrow?
I think it's one of those like rare ones that it's by a private seller. So
Okay.
why do you want it?
I I loved Lego a lot. We won't get into how much I liked Lego, but yeah,
Okay.
it got a little weird.
Uh, that's funny. Okay, we'll have to ask that, but I'll save that question for next time. All right, number 3. Which freeze-dried meal is the cheapest? A, Trailtopia chili mac with beef. B, oh, I should have just said which food is the cheapest. I actually I think I changed my answers after I wrote the question. So I'm going to change the question. Which food is the
Okay.
cheapest? The
Okay.
Trailtopia, B, a 6-pack of Honey Stinger waffles, or C, Alpine Air Nana's banana pudding. And the Trailtopia is 1 serving. The banana pudding, I think, is 1 serving as well. And the 6-pack of waffles is 6 servings.
That's a tough one.
This is the hardest one.
Yeah, I feel like they're all within like a couple dollars of each other.
They are. Yeah.
Um, the Trailtopia, because the Trailtopia, the double serving would be more expensive. That'd probably be
Right.
like around like 14.95. The single serving maybe like I'm gonna guess the single serving still over $10 or around $10.
Okay.
The nanners as a snack
Nanners.
maybe under $10. Is that you called them the nanners?
Nanas is super confusing. Nana's
Nanas.
banana pudding.
Nana's banana. Nana's okay. So it's not like a play on words for bananas. Okay.
It's a rhymish.
Banana pudding, and then the waffles. I have no idea what waffles cost these days.
Okay.
They gotta be like $1.50 per waffle at least. So I'm
Right,
gonna
but
go
you're
with
buying them in a six pack.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's getting up. I'm gonna guess the pudding.
The pudding. Hey man, 3 for 3. You did it. Good job.
Nice. What's the
Pudding
price? I'm
was
curious what the price was.
yes, pudding was 7. The
Okay.
Trailtopia was 7.50 for the single serving.
Ooh.
So less than you thought, I guess. And then the 6 pack of waffles was $9. So
Okay.
there you go.
So they were exactly $1.50 each.
Right. All right. So
Ish.
what am I in store for? You passed trivia. What do I got?
All right. So on your next trip, only during one day,
Okay.
you have to wear a clown wig, multicolored clown wig on your head.
What are you talking about? I'm leaving. I'm leaving in less than 2 days. You want me to, where am I getting a clown wig from, Justin?
I'll send you an affiliate link.
Okay. I would wear
Or
one. Can I kick it down the road to the trip after that?
like I'm seeing like next day delivery all over the place on Amazon right now.
Okay. I think
Send me
your budget.
send me your address and I'll send you a clown wig.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you can get me the clown wig by the time before I leave, then yeah, absolutely, I'll wear it for sure.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, that's hilarious. I'll have to take a picture or video of it. That's so funny, man. Um, I lost a bet to somebody else, and so I've got to like wear a costume on a hike slash like trail run. So yeah, but it's not a clown wig. I guess I could have doubled up on that one. But that's so ridiculous, dude. All right, so
one of the people with
last
clown wigs looks like Kyle. Or never mind. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Kyle hates hiking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just edited that out.
I know Kyle. Kyle's been on our show before. He's okay.
Yeah.
I can take it out. All right, man. Last segment, tidbits. I save that for you, man. You're our number 1 seed. You're our favorite guest by far. Just enjoy hanging out with you. Enjoy backpacking with you. It's a pleasure and a blessing to have you on our show. So for those who somehow maybe they're on YouTube, maybe they are new to our show, they haven't they haven't listened to a show with you as a guest or guest host on here. Like, what's your channel about? Where can they find you? All that stuff.
Yeah, just Justin Outdoors YouTube channel, and a little hack for people because we did talk about gear. I'll shout out packwizard.com. I think I mentioned it earlier,
Yep.
but that's there's basically like a gear explorer where we have a database of like all the different like sleeping pads, packs, quilts, like tents, and you can just filter based on different criteria. So you can be like, I want a sleeping pad that's under $200 over our value of 3. 25 inches wide, and then you can sort it. You can like sort it by weight or price or whatever you want, and find what's going to work for you. And it tracks like all the sales and stuff too, so you can find the best price.
Awesome, man. I'll have that link in our show description as well. And yeah, we'll have a link for Justin's channel as well. So I'm subscribed to his channel. I'm always looking at all the cool stuff he's got going on. He always has some really creative ideas, and he's my go-to guy for gear purchasing, gear reviews, all that stuff. So Justin, man, thank you so much for coming on the show.
I appreciate it. It's always a ton of fun.
Yeah. All right. All right, everybody. Have a great week out there, and God bless.